should you judge a book by its cover? Because I definitely do. I think I've reached the age where I've read all my life and I normally know if I'm going to like a book based on its cover or not. So I thought I'd show you some covers, tell you what I think the cover's going to tell me about the book, and then tell you if that is the case or not. But yeah, I know your mum always tells you don't judge a book by its cover. Famous saying, but I do. Sorry, I have to. Welcome back to my channel as well. If you're new here, my name is Mills. I get you loads of book recommendations, so many fun videos, and I keep you entertained every Sunday. So let's dive in. We've got to start off with Cowboys Cash. Jessica Peterson, this cover. I automatically see a cartoon cover and I think a lot of people cringe away from them. And I know based on my reading history, they are some of my favourite books, often have a cartoon cover. I'm thinking of Hannah Grace, Stephanie Archer, loads of authors, especially in the sports romance space. And Cash, it gives that kind of, I don't know how to describe it, but like swoony, cheesy romance vibe from the cover, and it does deliver that. This is swoony, this is cheesy, this is romancy. Each book in the series has a different cartoon cover. They're not too cartoony. I feel like they are a little bit more and the fact they've got a smooch on the front, you know the romance is normally spicy if on the front cover of the book they're showing a romantic element, and I can confirm all of that is true. So this is about a girl called Molly. She has inherited her father's ranch after he's passed away, and she goes to work there unexpectedly for a year. That's the stipulation of the will. She has to live and work there for a year to inherit the ranch, and she wants to sell it to do her cowboy boot business. And then she meets Cash Rivers, who is like the grumpiest man you will ever meet. He's so good. I love Cash. This is my actual favourite cowboy romance. Now, compared to some of the other cowboy romances I love, I don't know if this is my favourite cover, but I knew it was going to deliver. Like, I knew going in, we were going to get some smooching. I know it's Grumpy Sunshine from the blurb, but we know it's going to end in romance. You know where it's going. So I do approve. And I often have this cover here, and when I'm on lives, people always say to me, what's Cash like? Why is Cash there? Why do you have that one on show? Because it's a good cover to show. It's good. It delivers what it says on the tin. Then you go for something like Promises and Pomegranates by Sabah Miller. Now, from this cover, it's dark. It's not giving much. I don't even know why it's called Promises and Pomegranates, gonna be honest. I feel like it's got some Greek mythology reference that I don't understand. But it's not giving much. It's dark. I know it's gonna be a dark romance, but actually from this cover, I don't know if I'd pick this one up on a shelf. The reason I think you do then want to pick this book up is you have beautiful artwork inside. So first of all, if a book's got artwork in the inside covers, yes, that's going to draw me in, because they put a little bit of effort into this author. You also have a signed letter from the author. Again, a little bit more effort, a little bit more than going on. And then throughout the book, there are footnotes. So as I would be sitting, looking through a book thinking, am I wanting to read this or not? There would be things drawing me in. Now I can tell you this is quite a dark, mafia-inspired Greek mythology romance. It's about a girl who is on her wedding day, standing waiting to walk down the aisle, and this guy, Dr. Death, Tal Anderson, turns up and kills her fiancé and says, now you're going to have to marry me. And he's always been obsessed with her and her family, and there's this whole backstory. But I'm going to be honest, most of this series I wouldn't pick up from the covers. I don't know, there's just something that doesn't call to me about this. I'm thinking of some other dark romances I have, like Insatiable. That cover draws me in straight away. You can see it's got the rib cage on, it's got the edge of darkness, you can tell it's dark, it's got a K.A. Knight reference. Like, this doesn't have anything, and actually is one of my favourite books, and I think it's very underrated. I'm wondering if it's the cover design that makes it so underrated. Then we have something like Fragile Sanctuary, which is the first book in the Sparrow Falls series from Catherine Cowles. You know this is like a cutesy cover, so you go in thinking summer romance, cuteness, maybe a little bit of spice, not much more. This again is where the covers fall down. They look beautiful on the shelves. Maybe the blue should give it away, but these are filled with trauma, like intense trauma. Would I still pick this up? Yes, because I'd be thinking, oh, sit outside, I'll read a cutesy summer romance. And then bam, chapter 1, she's in a fire in her house, she falls out of a window to save herself and her whole family burns to ashes. Like, delivers that trauma in the first chapter. Sorry, spoiler, but it does. And I don't think you get that from the Sparrow Falls series cover. I don't think you get it from any Catherine Cowles covers, because she is romantic suspense. She is a little bit dark and twisted. She throws a little bit in there that you don't expect for her to be throwing in, and I'm obsessed with it. I'm obsessed with it. But I do love these covers, and I do think the way they look on the shelves is absolutely beautiful. I just don't think they scream that they're going to break your heart. And that's okay. But I think maybe somebody would pick this up and go, oh, that looks cute. And a swoony small town romance that will set your heart racing. Like, all of it is like, oh, cute. Catherine Cowles is never just cute. Just gonna tell you this. She likes to destroy me. She likes to make me cry. Personally, I feel like she does it personally. I'm currently reading a new Emily Raff book, so it's only fair we talk about Pucking Around by Emily Raff. So from this cover, there's 3 guys. She's kind of holding his stick maybe in an inappropriate place. She's touching his chest. Like, I would think maybe there's some love triangle going on. What's the third guy doing over there? I'm not 100% sure. It is a chunky book, so then I'd also be thinking, why is it so chunky? It's cute. And this is where the cute cartoon cover lets you down. Because you might give this to a child. You might think, oh, maybe 16-year-olds should read this. No, this is pure filth. This is filth on page in the best way possible. This is a why choose that I absolutely recommend to everybody reading. It's MMMF, and some of the MM happens as well. So you've got a goalkeeper, an equipment manager, and one of the star players. They all are involved with her, and then there's like a little MM duo between these two. There's some piercings in some places that you can't tell. You cannot tell this man has some fancy piercings. He's a little bit actually, what's the best way to describe it? He's a little bit, I don't know how to describe it. Kinky? Kinky's probably the best way to describe it. But from this cover, would you think that this is one of the kinkiest, spiciest, sexiest books I've ever read? No, you wouldn't. And it is. So I actually think the cover opens the door to people thinking, oh, sports romance. I mean, sports romance is hella spicy. Everybody knows this at this point. We've seen Off Campus on screen now. I think everybody's aware that people who read sports romance is like a hella lot of spice. But I just don't think you would know going into this one what you're about to get. And I love that. I love that. Then we have The Someday Garden by Ashley Poston. I love Ashley Poston, but I think her covers always let her down. I would probably skip past this. My nails matched it last week with yellow, and now they kind of match with the purple. But if I saw this on a shelf, I probably wouldn't pick it up. It looks a bit cutesy. It doesn't look like it's going to give me much. This book delivers. It is a whimsical romance. It's beautifully written. It rips your heart out. It builds it back up. It rips it out again. And you root for all the characters. You want to know what's happening. Do I get that from this cover? No. And I'd also be thinking, it looks a bit like The Secret Garden. It feels maybe a little bit childish. I think this really lets it down. Really lets it down. I also don't love the peach colour. It's about a girl who has just lost her best friend a few years ago. She's still surviving the trauma of losing her best friend, and she goes to work in Lilymore House in the garden. She is a gardener. And she goes through this door, meets a man who's trapped in a garden, and every time she meets him, the door slightly moves location, so it's not easy for her to find him, and maybe there's some romantic sparks between him and her. But the time he entered the garden is slowly approaching the timeline in real life, and will they be able to get him out before that time passes? I actually just think, I don't know what I would have done for the cover, but maybe something more picture-y with a garden, because it's giving Secret Garden vibes. I love Secret Garden, but I was a kid when I read it. So yeah. Just think this one a little bit of a letdown for me, and I wouldn't have picked this up, and I was reluctant to pick it up, but I saw everyone talking about it, so I listened to the reviews, picked it up, and I'm so glad I did, because this cover wasn't doing it for me. Then we have Sutton Asylum by Kingsley Kincaid. Every time I talk about this book, I feel like it gets me in trouble. This one definitely is dark. I would think the word asylum and kind of darkness, like, ooh, it's gonna be a bit spooky, it's gonna be a bit scary, it might make me jump a few times, like maybe dark romance horror, which it technically falls into that category. Didn't expect what I read. It's about a brother and sister. They're twins. They like to get freaky with each other, and their parents try to stop them, but when their parents try to stop them, they actually do some horrible things to them, so they remove their parents from the world and have to go to an asylum. Would you know from this cover that you're about to read technically incest? No, I don't think you would. I don't think you would, but you know it's dark, you know it's twisted, you just don't know how dark and twisted it is. And every time I talk about this book, people don't realise that Jasper and Iris are going to be brother and sister, and I'm always like, It says, you're about to enter Sutton Asylum, home of the Ashford twins and others like them. These individuals should never be allowed back into society. They're a danger to the public. They're a danger to other patients, staff and visitors. They are sick and can never be cured. You don't get anything from that. I don't even know if it has a trigger warning list. Like, I feel like when I picked this up, I knew it was going to be, yeah, you can go and find a trigger warning list. I knew it was going to be dark. I knew it was going to be twisted. I didn't realise how twisted it was going to be. But I do love this book. So, yeah, every time I say that, people really, really dislike that. So, yeah, maybe you shouldn't judge a book by its cover, because this one is wild. This one, Axe's Nose by Kayla Gross. I have a bone to pick because this is one of the covers where I would think this is for my dad. I wouldn't have picked this up on the shelf. Like, very lumberjack vibes. I would have looked at that and gone, shouldn't say it, but boyish style book. And I wouldn't have picked it up. And this is a kinky one as well. I think they try to hide kinky books as secret covers. I think maybe that's what we do. This is about a guy who has some car troubles. He meets two people in a mountain and they have like a throuple. He like has this bi awakening. He gets involved with this man and wife who are lumberjack people, and he gets involved with the man and the woman equally and has like a little throuple time with them. Great, spicy, fun, super easy to read. But would you guess from the cover that? No. I honestly probably would have bought this for like a boyfriend or a dad or something, giving it to them and being like, oh, there you go. And then the trigger warning list would trigger them. So yeah, just be very careful sometimes. I've learned cartoon covers, but I haven't learned this style yet. I feel like cartoon covers I got down to a T, I'm going to know how spicy it is. But this one, I don't think you can tell. So when I picked up Say You Swear, I knew, because people had told me some things about it, that it probably was going to make me cry. I wouldn't have guessed that from this cover. You'd think sports romance, really fun cover. It's about a girl who thinks she knows who the love of her life is, her brother's best friend. She sleeps with him one night, loses her virginity to him actually, and then he kind of ghosts her and he's like, oh, it's a one-time thing, it probably shouldn't happen again. And actually she is heartbroken from that. She doesn't know what to do with herself, and then she meets somebody else, and it's a story of true love versus first love, and then she has a really traumatic incident with him. I would say check your trigger warnings. I don't want to say what it has because it is the spoiler of the story, but I would say check your trigger warnings because for some people it could be quite triggering. It's a very common triggering topic. But would I have known that I was going to sob and cry based on this cover? No, I wouldn't. I didn't think I would get as attached to the characters. I thought like maybe a love triangle, fun, spicy romance. Didn't expect this, and I'm so glad I didn't, because I went in thinking, how is this going to break me? How is this going to destroy me? And my goodness, it did. I love talking about this book. This is Kiss of the Basilisk by Lindsay Straub. The cover definitely gives seductive, romantic-y vibes. Like, I'm thinking Basilisk, like, what could that be related to? But you just can't tell. It doesn't tell you much. On the back, you have some, like, quotes from people, but I don't think I ever read them. I don't think I do. I love reading them after, but I don't like them to let me sway. But I would think, like, because you can see her back, is going to be spicy. My goodness, this is spicy. So this is about a group of girls who are being trained by Basilisk to seduce a prince. And whoever can be the most seductive will win his hand in marriage. There's also a scene where she, like, has spicy time. I'm trying to think about how I word this in a very voyeuristic way, which I wouldn't have guessed from the cover. I also think the Basilisk element wasn't going to be part of the story necessarily. Like, I didn't think she was going to be getting freaky with basilisks. Just couldn't see that one coming. So this one, I think you'd pick up thinking you like the cover, like it's a little bit seductive, not as seductive as maybe some of the other covers I have. Like, I feel like The Ritual, like, you know what you're getting into from that cover, because, like, that man is intense. But this one doesn't seem as intense, and then, my goodness, the spice hits. The spice hits, and it just keeps on coming. Literally. And you don't know what to do with yourself. So, yeah, I love this one. This one really shocked me in the best way possible. Okay, these are the cutesy people covers I'm talking about. So when you've got them, like, kissing like this, you kind of think this is something like your gran might read. You know, when they used to read, like, Mills and Boon books, and they had those kind of romantic covers. I'd pick this up and think, oh, my gran would read this. This one is so good, and I did definitely judge it by its cover. I remember thinking, I'm not the biggest fan of real people on covers. I do prefer a cartoon one, because I always think they have the best spice. This was so good. So you meet Montana Blake, and she lives in this small town, and then she has this guy come to town. I think her surname is Blake, I could have just made that up, called Miles, and he is wanting to knock down her favourite inn and build a hotel there. And so she kind of has a half one-night fling. You'll see how when you read it with him on the first night, not knowing he is Miles. Like, not realising he is the person that is her sworn enemy that she's never met before. And I love this. The second book is just as good, but the covers just don't deliver for me. I don't know if you guys have an opinion, but let me know in the comments if you prefer cartoon/real person. I definitely think I sit more in the cartoon category. Also, like, when I'm sitting on the train reading this, I don't want people to know that I'm reading kissing people like this, but as the cartoons seem harmless, and we know they're not. But yeah, that one is absolutely hilarious. I went in thinking, like, my mum, my gran would read this, and then, wow, it was spicy. This man, he's a giver. He's a giver, that's all I'm going to say. Okay, and the last one I'm going to do is A Love Letter to Whiskey. Now, this gives cute vibes. It gives nothing too exciting. I do have the one with the sprayed edge that says you and only you. So you kind of like, oh, this is going to be one of those cute romances. They're going to be friends to lovers. It's going to be super easy for them. Wrong. This is emotional destruction in the book, and that cover does not give you emotional destruction, and it's going to destroy you. It's gonna ruin you. But I loved it. It does involve a cheating trope. Would you guess that from the cover? No. Would you guess that these two people have constantly collided with each other in their life and they've never ever been together, and it's like a now or never situation? There's a marriage on the line or a potential marriage on the line. Half the book's from her point of view, then you get the book again from his point of view, so you don't even know that there's two books in here. So I went into this completely blind, started reading on an aeroplane. Luckily it was a quick flight, because after I got off that aeroplane, I was destroyed. I was destroyed by this book. So yeah, I don't know if you would know how intense this is going to be from the cover, but my goodness, it's intense. So that brings me to the end. Let me know which books you've judged by covers and which ones have been worth it when you have judged their cover. And make sure you hit subscribe and turn on notifications, because I post every Sunday, and I'll see you next week, lovelies. Bye.